There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and share, get us back into the screen. All right, well, welcome to this free introductory class for Life Mastery, and this is about building a foundation. In this class, I'm going to teach you guys the foundation meditation and a foundation tool that I call the Life Compass to support you. And you can take these tools and use them forever. We are going to first start with just kind of looking, each class will go through our goals and what we plan on accomplishing during that day. So today, like I said, we're going to do a grounding and connecting meditation. And we're going to talk about how we can build that into a daily practice and routine, creating a schedule for yourself. Then we're going to do the feeling of the compass so you can begin orienting into your own, what I call internal alignment. And throughout the whole program, I'll be talking about building the column, this central column structure. If you look at any images of chakra drawings, you'll see this column of our light body. And that's what we're going to always be talking about when we're talking about alignment, coming into that. We'll also talk about some perspectives and awakening awarenesses that I have found to be really supportive for people as they're going through this process, and how you can bring these lessons into your daily practice. So every class, this is the loose schedule. We film classes usually on Thursdays. Right now, it's Thursday evenings from 7 to 7:15 is check-in. In the future, the next series will be either recorded in another evening time or in the morning. We'll just figure out how that goes for this particular set. Right now, we're planning on Thursday mornings, but that might shift to Saturday mornings. Every class will start with a check-in, then we'll go into an opening meditation time, and that'll be where we ground and we connect, and we'll open up our system to receive whatever the information we cover in that class will be. Then we'll do some instruction and exercise, have a little movement time, and then we do Q&A and wrap up, do some practice stuff, and close out. You will always be given exercises and journaling assignments just to use as you see fit to integrate into your life. And these are not meant to be assignments, rather meant to be suggestions. Your learning is yours. You can take it however you'd like. A lot of the classes will have the links integrated into these slide presentations that you're seeing right now. And so when you're going through this as a workbook, which you'll get as a PDF after the recorded class is sent out, it comes with the class, you will be able to click in those links and do further work, research deeper into subjects that are interesting to you or you feel engaged with. So you'll want to look for things where they're highlighted or underlined. That's just a side note. So using Zoom. Zoom is how I do all of my work for people especially that are not local. But even local people choose to come and meet me on Zoom because you can have your sessions or readings recorded. So we do labs, we do circles, I do session work and readings, and we do classes through Zoom. So using Zoom, if you're not familiar, here's an image of the phone screen. We use the buttons on the bottom. If you're using it on a computer, sometimes those icons are located on the top. You want to activate your mic or your camera or turn them off if it's during an instruction period and it's recording and you happen to come in late. Just make sure you don't turn on your mic. You can turn your camera on, that's fine, but your mic would be what I'd prefer you choose not to. I take a little bit of time over after the recording to send them out, so I promise that they're usually there by the next week, by the end of the next weekend. Okay, so before we get into the meditation, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how you can maximize your training if you do choose to continue in life mastery, or if you choose to go on your own and create your own training program, which is also totally an amazing experience. We are our best teachers if we can listen to ourselves. So what I always suggest with my students is that they build a morning meditation practice. Morning meditation does not mean that I want you to every morning wake up an hour before you're supposed to get dressed in your perfect meditation gear and go to that quiet perfect beatific room and have this amazing blissed out experience. That maybe is an end goal for you. I do get up a few hours early and spend that time meditating, but I do it in my bed. So when I say morning practice, what I mean is set your alarm 5 to 10 minutes earlier than what time you would wake up, and spend that 10 minutes or 5 minutes to the snooze to allow yourself to focus and do this morning practice. It doesn't take long. And this is a way you can integrate things into what you're already doing. You're already in bed, you're already laying there, you already have to wake up. You're giving yourself 5 or 10 minutes more. I promise this is an easy way to integrate it in, and I do believe that everyone can do it. Even if you have children, and let's say you have children and your kid wakes you up, you can lay them in bed with you and talk them through this exercise, and you can make it a game. So this is something that's a very easy way to integrate it into your daily practice. Building daily practice is going to be your main goal, because it's in the practicing on a day-to-day basis in each movement that we begin to shape the new patterns, the new neural pathways, and we can break out of old patterns and old ruts. So it's something you're going to hear a lot from me. Perspective shifting exercises are going to come through all the time, and you're going to start looking for these opportunities where once you saw them as problems and challenges. So look out for perspective building exercises and try to integrate them as a practice of play with yourself, creating games. And walking practice is something that I'll talk about throughout the whole program as well. Remembering that you are a being in movement, a tree being walking with your roots already reaching out before you, is another quick, powerful tool that will come up again and again. Compass building exercises are going to look like these challenges to go out into the world or to stay in and go into the inner world, and asking questions, yes or no questions. We do yes or no questions because yes or no is this polarity. It's easy to discern yes or no, right? If we want to learn a new language, often the first words we learn are yes or no and hello. My name is. So we want to begin with our body by building yes and no questions and answers, and using these yes and no's from our body to guide us and to challenge what we believe to be true. This is going to be something that's going to continue throughout. Looking for compass building opportunities and exercises to bring in your own guidance. Journaling exercises are another thing I recommend for people to do in order to build and maximize their training. I'm not a big writing journaler as far as having a book and it's all structured. I like to have lots of paper, right? So I tend to have big pieces of paper that I fold in half and create little booklets of things, make lots of little notes. I also am an audio journaler. I will record my things in an audio file. So these are other ways. I have some students who are more artistic journalers, so they'll draw things or they'll color things. So I invite you to open up journaling to be more than just what you think it is. It doesn't have to be sitting and writing all the time, though there's going to be a lot of opportunities and offerings of written exercises that you can do. Okay, so we're going to start with our first meditation. This is a grounding through the tree of life. Now, when you are practicing meditation on your own, at home and in your own space, I am not a person that believes that meditation has to always be in the lotus position. For me personally, my preferred position for meditation is laying flat on my back. For me, that laying flat on my back is a total surrendering, and it allows me to surrender my control of the world and open myself to total reception. When I am doing work with other people, I tend to prefer to be sitting straight up, sitting. Sometimes I need to stand and really move the energy. So I am not always going to be in a sedate, passive state for my meditations. This is something that's an important and powerful key that's going to give you more freedom in your meditation. And it's going to take you from thinking of meditation as an experience that you have to go and have, and to transition into that meditation is actually a state of being, completely present in the here and in the now, to the point where I have all of my life force focused and aligned here and now. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not thinking even about what the next slide that's coming up will be. I'm only in this moment now. I'm only now washing the dish, this dish, in such gratitude. So meditation as a practice is bringing this present focus and awareness into your active life. So it's not always going to be a passive and inactive activity. When we are going to do meditation like we are for this class, we're going to be opening up the energetic body to receive information, the mind-body-spirit complex into alignment, and to attune your vibrational frequency, which is going to impact you on a physical, energetic, and emotional level. So when we're doing something like that, there's some things that we need to do to prepare ourselves. The first thing is we have to stretch ourselves out. We have to open up our body, open up our joints, really stretch out. If you feel like you need to stand up to do so, do. I also recommend when you do stand up for this part, to do a stretch where you reach all the way up and over and allow your arms to pull you down, all the way down, letting your head drop. This stretches and flexes your back and spine. It's important to flex out and open the spinal column because that's your central column, your nervous system column. I also want you to shift and roll your ankles and feet, moving your knees, moving them around, your hips, rocking your pelvic floor, really moving, adjusting, opening up the shoulders, moving and adjusting, opening up the neck and spine. This is an important step before we do this work because it's through those joints that our energy has to flow. And by moving, we actually are coming into neuro contact with all of our cells. Our muscle cells are receiving information. Our blood flow is now pumping through to these different parts of the body. Our awareness is remembering, that's right, I have feet. They're touching the ground. Oh, that's right. Ground myself. So we do all of these things to bring our awareness back into the body, back into the here and the now. Okay, so once we're all comfortable, we're either sitting or laying comfortably, our body feels relaxed, and we're beginning to be able to forget what it is to hold ourselves in this position. The column is straight and stacked. And now I want you to begin to bring your awareness into your breath. We always start with the breath. The breath is how we control everything in our body, physiologically and energetically, and thus emotionally. The breath, as we breathe in, tells our heartbeat how fast it needs to go. The breath brings in the fresh air, but it's exhaling out all the toxins and the debris from our cellular functioning as we process and release from our bodies. And as it breathes in, it's pushing this new, fresh, oxygen-rich blood with nutrients through the vessel because of that heartbeat, that pulse. And it's pushing that new material into all the cells and pushing, as it does so, creating that flow out of the cells, the debris, which comes back up through our lymphatic system, processes through our lungs, our skin, and some of our organs, our filter organs, our spleen and our liver and our kidneys. So this is a process that's happening, and it's all driven by the breath. So this is why the breath is so important. So we're going to begin by the breathing. And as I've been talking, you become more and more aware of your breathing. When we're stressed, when it's tense, when we have anxiety, we shallow breathe. We breathe in the upper part of our chest, and we tend to not breathe enough to make our chests even move. Short, shallow breaths. So what I want you to do is, as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine that your chest is expanding and opening. And as you exhale, you're pulling your belly tight to push the air up and out, but keeping the chest expanded. It's going to feel strange and uncomfortable. And when you breathe in the next time, soften your belly and imagine the air is going down into that belly, softening and opening it, expanding the chest, and exhaling by pulling the belly back up tight. Breathing in, expanding the chest, dropping the belly like your big fat Santa belly, and exhaling, pulling the chest, keeping the chest open and pulling the belly up. I'm going to do 3 breaths like this. If you notice yourself continuing to breathe, getting into a yawn or a hiccup like I just did, this is when your body is shifting in energy frequency. It's like putting in the clutch and releasing into a new frequency. Or it's when we have some sort of block appearing for us and the energy is having a hard time flowing. So just like when we're trying to wash something, we just add a little more pressure to the water. We add a little more pressure to the flow when we pause in that yawn. And then we get the release, and we can feel the energy flow. Begin to become more aware of these things as they happen. Don't worry about them. They're perfect. They're supposed to be happening. So continuing to breathe in a relaxed but intentional way, expanding the chest and exhaling from the belly. And with your next breath, after you exhale, I want you to imagine that you're expanding your ribs out on the sides, as though you're breathing into your arms. We're going to open up those side breathing muscles, as well as expanding the chest and exhaling from the belly. Breathing in, expanding the ribs in the front and sides, keeping them open and exhaling from the belly. Breathing in through the nose, staying in balance, keeping the rib cage expanded, and exhaling from the belly. Breathing in and expanding the rib cage in the back, as though your shoulder blades are opening and allowing even more air in, keeping the rib cage expanded, exhaling from the belly. Good. And now at this point, you should be starting to feel a little bit of tingling through the body, maybe even a little hyperventilate because you're not used to having this much oxygen in your system. But by keeping the rib cage expanded and exhaling from the belly, we keep a certain amount of air inside of our lungs. So the exchange ratio of oxygen and carbon monoxide is always in balance. So don't worry, you're not actually hyperventilating. You're getting used to this new level of oxygen. So I want you to continue this breath. And whenever you think about it, breathe. Whenever you think, breathe. This is the kind of breathing that we all will increase our health, increase our energy, our vitality by doing. It's actually the proper way to breathe. We call it the breath of life. Expanded rib cage. Exhaling from the belly. Rolling the shoulders back, really settling into the breath. Good. Good. Now I want you to begin to imagine while you're breathing a tree, any kind of tree. It could be the tree from this world or another. It can be a shrub, a bush, anything that feels really calling to you. For me, it's a willow tree. See that tree growing on the side of a stream of consciousness. This stream of consciousness is your stream of consciousness, and the tree is growing at where you are in your development right now. See those roots growing into the bank of the tree, its trunk growing up tall and strong. See its crown opening and blossoming. Visualizing the light of Source shining down on the leaves, the wind of change gently blowing. Now I want you to imagine that you're going to walk up and step inside of this tree. Feel its trunk wrapping around you, supporting you, tall and strong. See its roots dropping down and feel your roots at the bottom of the soles of your feet, at your seat, dropping down and spreading wider and deeper. Good. Feel the taproot of the tree, strong and deep, reaching even deeper. Feel your own taproot dropping down from your seat, down through your feet, all the way down into Gaia, all the way into the earth, through the crust, through the layers of bedrock, all the way down to the center of the planet, where its liquid hot core, solid spinning in that liquid state, creating all of the electromagnetic fields of our planet, the pulse of our planet. Good. You can feel that now in the soles of your feet as you tap in to this field around the planet. You can imagine the earth with these bands of energy flowing around and see your own roots in that system. Good. And just like a tree draws the energy, the water, the nutrients up from the ground, we're going to draw this energy of Gaia up through our roots, up through our feet, our ankles, each pulse rising a little more up through our calves and shins. If we have areas that hurt or tight or tense, or that the energy doesn't want to flow beyond, we just thank that part of the body and we recognize it's storing something there. And it can show us now or it can show us later. We'll come back to it. We won't forget it anymore. We allow that energy to show us as it's flowing, to guide us in a state of allowance and surrender to what is in our body. Bringing that energy up through the calves, into the knees, I like to think of it flushing and swirling through these joints, my ankles and my knees, my hips, flushing and swirling, cleansing them out. Bringing that energy up through the thighs. I can also use my hands to guide the energy and flow. I can imagine my hands flowing energy out of them and place them on my body in parts that feel painful or tight. Or I can encourage the energy to flow with brushing, sweeping motions over the areas that it feels like it's sluggish or slow. I can support the energy in flowing up through my body in this way. So bringing it up through the thighs, into the hips and seat, that pelvic floor. Remembering to continue to breathe. So many of us are unsure right now of what to do as we move forward. That's all in the hips, in our seat. We carry that. What's my next step? What do I do? We don't have any steps right now, so it feels a little weird. So we're just going to imagine that and support our hips and flush and release. There we go. Feeling that energy rising up the back of the spine, up through the core, all these muscles that wrap around and support our abdomen, all of our intestines and organs inside, just flushing and releasing. If we have anything heavy, heavy metals, heavy debris, heavy emotions, things that feel really dark, that we don't know what to do with, remember, Gaia is a massive recycling machine, a mechanism so strong. We can send that down. For what is us, for us, garbage is recycled, is for her compost. We can send that down into the earth. She knows what to do with heavy metals. Send that down, allowing it to expel through our pores and our feet, down through our roots, down through that taproot, all the way down into Gaia. Even stronger, anchoring us and our connection, surrendering into this balance of flow of Gaia and ourself and source. All right, good. When we get into the bowel area, often there's heavy, heavy emotions stored here. If you feel like you have to get up and go to the bathroom, go. You're not going to be interrupting your meditation at all. This is part of your meditation. Continue your grounding on the toilet, bringing it up through the abdomen, up into that sacral place, into that space where we create and make and build, feeling it spreading through this lower abdomen space even more, flushing, cleansing, and releasing. Bringing the energy up into the solar plex, into the belly, the liver and spleen, the kidneys, stomach. Good. All the way around to the back, coming up vertebra by vertebra through the spinal column. Bringing the energy up into the heart and lungs, through the diaphragm, softening even more the space. This muscle is so big and gets so tense and hard from trying to hold us together. So we just soften and allow it to relax. And when we do that, we allow that softening and then that contraction to breathe, exhaling. We're actually now massaging our organs as well when we do this. So letting that soften and then pull in, tighten, will help with digestion, will help support your organ health, and will help you with even better circulatory flow. Breathing through the back as well as the energy rises up into that high heart chakra where we begin to express ourselves from. Feeling it coming into the shoulders and dropping down through the arms. These are extensions of our heart, how we show and give our love. Good. Feeling that energy dropping through the elbows, forearms, all the way to the wrists, palms, and fingertips. Good. Feeling it looping back, coming back up the arms, creating a circuit of our body, back up through the elbows, shoulders, joining that spinal column of energy and the energy from the front and our high heart, coming up into the throat chakra. Our throats are so much bigger than our necks. So allow that throat chakra to open and expand. Good. Often I have to yawn. If you feel that need to make a buzzy sound or hum when you're breathing, inhaling or exhaling or yawning, that buzzy vibration inside your body is also helping support you in releasing. If you're feeling tears flowing down your eyes, it's because your energetic system is flowing now. It's through our waters that the energy is so conductive. So we're just going to continue breathing, feeling that energy rising up through the head. Through the mouth and throat, up the back of the spine, and to the base of the brain. If you're feeling your sinuses beginning to get squishy and feeling that fluid, this is also a natural part of this level of meditation and type. Your pineal gland is engaging and it's resetting to this new frequency that you're now channeling through the body with intention. And it's releasing hormones through a secretion of the gland. And that drains down the sinus cavity. And that triggers the thyroid, the thalamus, the thymus, all of these glands to now release different levels of hormones to begin changing and adjusting your body. So we're just thanking this system, now sending it to the adrenals, readjusting and rebalancing, bringing us out of that survival mode and into that state of balance. Feeling it dropping into our testes and ovaries. This area controls our reproduction, but it also controls so much of our body's capacity to either grow and build new things or reserve and hold. So we're just going to thank the body, processing fear, processing all of these hormones through our bladder, and releasing all of that excess cortisol in our system as we again shift into a state of calm, balance. Good. Feeling that energy in the head coming up into the top of the crown as the pressure begins to build until the crown effortlessly and gracefully blossoms and opens. Good. Good. Feeling that energy rising up out of the crown, imagining that it's rising effortlessly and gracefully all the way up into source, following that stream of consciousness into the river of the wholeness of your consciousness and awareness, following that river all the way back to the mouth where it flows into the wholeness of source consciousness. Good. I'm going to give you an attunement into this source frequency to help and support opening your channels and Gaia frequency. You can visualize this by imagining shining down on you a blue light, Blue column of light. Hmm. You can see that blue light flowing down through the body, shining on the leaves of the tree, being absorbed into the body as your body and your energy begin to remember its own knowing, its interconnected knowing with all things. Feeling that blue light shining down through all of your system and sending that blue light down into Gaia, helping Gaia remember itself as a whole being, a part of this greater consciousness of Source. And we are an individual, a part of Gaia and a part of Source. Allowing ourselves to hold this space, just like the tree holds its space. So let's just take a few moments to feel this energy flowing down through the body. And I'm going to allow you to trace it back down through your vessel in the same path that you brought it up. Head, throat, shoulders, all the way down to the fingertips and back, the heart, down, all the way through the abdomen, solar plex, sacral, root, down through the legs, down through the feet, and all the way down into Gaia. Good. Just take a moment to feel your body, to feel this energy flowing. Good. I want you to visualize a column of light coming up from Gaia, a red, rich column of light coming up through your feet as you surrender even more deeply and allow Gaia to reprogram and awaken the knowing of the body, the material, the community of cells and organisms and bacteria, flora, and fauna of your body. Bringing it back into a perfect state of balance with this knowing, this understanding of our interconnectedness of all things. Feeling that red ray of light shining up through the legs, all the way up through the abdomen, chest, arms, all the way up through the head and the crown. Letting that red ray of light go all the way up the column into Source. Good. And now we're going to imagine sparking in the center of our belly, in our solar plex, a golden spark of light. This golden spark of light is you, your individuation, the being you came here to be, your unique lens of perspective, awareness, time, space, this life, this strand. all held within this golden spark in your belly. And with each breath, I want you to imagine that you're blowing on that spark and allowing it to grow bigger and brighter, and then bigger and brighter, and bigger and brighter until it's as big as your whole body. And you are a great big glowing ball of golden light, perfectly balanced on a column of red light lifting you up and a column of blue light holding you in place. Perfect balance, perfect harmony. And breathe. Good. And now we're going to visualize that tree in that perfect balance, in that column of red light rising up and holding it up, and that column of blue light balancing it and holding it in place while it radiates its green and golden light, healing and nurturing. By doing this, we're creating a magical symbol in our minds of our state of balanced grace. As you move forward in your life, visualizing this tree, this symbol, this image, this moment, this time, this vibration will be invoked. And you will begin to come back into the state of balanced being. Continuing to breathe. Good. Okay. Now we're going to begin to come back into the here and the now, back into this awareness, carrying with us all the wisdom, the grace, the understanding that we both have consciously as well as unconsciously awoken within ourselves into our present, fully aware, fully awake self. Coming back into your body, into your seat, into the space and time of the here and the now. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. You can stand up if you need to. I'm going to stand up and walk a little bit and move in place. Just kind of create some movement and flow. If you have to go to the bathroom, this is a very good time. If you're watching this as a recording, you can pause it. I'm just going to get up and move for a moment. I'm always snapping, cracking, popping. If you have water, it's a good time to drink. Keeping that flow going. All right. When we are doing this kind of work, what we're doing is we're building our energetic and our consciousness awareness and focus and channels. Every time you do this exercise, you're literally doing a workout routine, and you have to think of it in that way. You need water, a good hydration, you need to be well nourished, you're going to need all of the tools your body uses in order to grow new tissue and to heal itself, and you're building your mental focus, reprogramming your neuro pathways in both your cognitive cerebral nervous system as well as in your parasympathetic nervous system, the gut brain, which is where most of the decision making actually happens. This is an associative mechanism. This is a memory storage device, and a device that operates way more than this one does. This one will shut this down and and take over. So we have to become aware of our parasympathetic nervous system and give it its due presence. This will take a lot of your physiological symptoms that are happening as an unconscious mechanism and bring them into the conscious awareness. Why that's powerful is because we can control even things like our temperature, our body temperature, our blood pressure. We can control aspects of illnesses and disease, of hormonal imbalance, Hashimoto's disease, thyroid disorders, by using our consciousness and engaging our body. This is the most powerful tool that you can use. And in order to be able to use it, we have to build our awareness, build our strength, build our skills with it, and it only happens through practice. So I've been doing this as a daily practice for about 8 years now, and I can tell you I changed my life. I struggle in certain areas because I struggle with those beliefs still. So I'm not speaking from a place of completion, but a space of active doing. Okay, so every time we ground and connect our energy in this way, we are slipping into the flow of energy, the flow of what's actually happening around us as well as within us, because we're a being that's reacting in a co-creative experience with all the rest of Source and in manifesting itself, not just in other people, but in the animals, in the trees, in the ground. Everything is an aspect of Source expressing itself. So everything has vibration. It's pretty easy for us to think about like a stone as having vibration because we've heard that. We hear that energy goes into these stones and it's moved and it changes and it comes out different. That's why we like them. We're like, oh, I feel so grounded with this good smoky quartz. I feel so calm with this amethyst. But we ourselves are energy generators, and we ourselves are bringing in energy, translating it through our system, and sending it back out. So I'm going to be teaching you in these 3 primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, because these primary colors will keep bringing us back into a balance. If you're an artist, you want to know what your primary colors are so you can understand what tones have been used in order to create these colors of your life. So we want to go back to basics of these color variants, and they help your body vibrate at the frequencies of those color vibrations. Red vibration is the physical assembling vibration of matter. We call it a red ray field around the body. And it's what tells your cells how to organize themselves. So we use the red energy to ground us. The blue ray is the consciousness vibration of all consciousness. They call it the God particle in science and physics and string theory and all of those things now, because it is the space between the vibration of that space that tells the atoms, the particles, and the molecules how tightly to bond to one another and how to assemble themselves to create the physical matter in your reality. So it's all at the root vibration. The yellow ray is our individuated ray. It is our unique color spectrum. Each of us will have our own unique color spectrum of this golden light that's ours. So when we're struggling to feel like we belong or we are of worth or value or nobody sees us or witnesses us, we can use that golden sun from within to balance us, warm us, be able to see ourselves, our own light. We can use these colors as tools. When I feel like I can't connect to the other people around me, I can use that blue light and imagine them in a blue light, and it'll help support me. So this is why I'm going to be using these color terms throughout the whole class series. Each time you're grounding and connecting and aligning, you're grounding and connecting, you're grounding in first, connecting into Source, and then aligning into your own frequency. visualizing that tether of yourself down into Gaia, giving it flexibility and movement. Okay, lots of information coming at you, I know. So you don't have to write all this stuff down. This is all in the workbook. This will come with the class. Building your daily practice, setting reminders. A lot of people don't like alarms. I really love them. And I use my phone as my alarm. I found an alarm setting that I love the tone of. It's comfortable, it's beautiful, I enjoy it. It doesn't bother me when it comes on. And I set 2 mornings alarms, as I said before. I personally set my alarm 30 minutes prior to the time I want to wake up to ensure I have enough time to be grounded and connected and aligned. I like that 30 minutes at a minimum. If I wake up earlier than that, I take longer and I come out when I'm done. Reminders to ground and connect 20 to 30 minutes before leaving for an appointment to hang out with somebody or a scheduled engagement or a session or work. For me, I know I need time to transition between my settings. That's just how I am. You know yourself and you know how much time you may need. Schedule that time into your schedule of your day. If I'm going to go and see a lawyer or a doctor, that's a more stressful experience. I want to make sure I'm walking into that space in a grounded, connected place. I'm teaching. I want to make sure I'm present and grounded and connected and I'm in the teaching mode. So I give myself my time and space to do that, to review my material in my mind, what are my goals in this class, and so on and so forth. Post-it notes are great reminders. You can build a climate for yourself with them. You can put them up places if you want to be in a better state of self-care and self-care practices. Put Post-it notes in places that you know you can't miss them, on your door as you leave. Did you have enough water today? Get yourself a good big size 1-gallon jug of water and put a Post-it note on it of what your goals with your water: hydration, love of my body, love of myself. These Post-it notes can be used to set as reminders. They can also charge these things with the vibration of the word. So when you're writing these Post-it notes, make sure that you're using language that feels good to you. It's going to be a part of your practice as well as you move forward to understand the language of your body. In fact, that's step 1 that we take, not the intro, step 1. So Post-it notes for also climates of gratitude. If you maybe are struggling to feel like life is good, or you don't have enough, or things are always hard, or they come hard for you, or anything like that, or you're wanting your partner to witness you more in gratitude. Well, that usually starts by creating a climate of gratitude, expressing gratitude to them, to yourself, to your life. And you can do that with little Post-it notes if you need reminders for those things, or if you want to leave a note for your partner. So notes are a great thing. One of my friends, when she was struggling with reprogramming her mind, she started writing notes for herself of beliefs that she wants to hold instead. So she could just look at that sheet when she knew she was looking for clothes in the closet. Before she opened it, there's a note on the door that talks about her beliefs around her body. I am beautiful. I am graceful. My wardrobe is an expression of who I am today, and I get to express myself. And it was a powerful tool for her to be able to change her relationship with her clothes. And it left that vibration on the closet, right? Creates a space of that. Give it a temple. Grounding and connecting goals. When I was in training, I remember asking my teacher, well, how many times a day should I be doing this? I was like, I try to do it when I'm at a stoplight, or I try to do it when I'm standing in line. She goes, good, and more. She said, 20 to 30 times is probably what you want me to say. I'll say, you're getting there when you're doing it 50 to 100 times a day. But you'll know it when it's all through the day. It should be thousands of times through the day. Now, when we do the longer morning meditation where we are grounding and connecting with intention, first of all, you'll get faster and faster at that. Within a month, you'll barely even have to think about it before you feel fully grounded and connected. But if you do it that way in the beginning, full intentional grounding and connecting in the morning. Throughout your day, it's just like that. So let's take a second to feel yourself and remember your grounding and connecting. Visualize your roots. Imagine and visualize that tree, its roots, and that stream of consciousness, your magical symbol. Remember, see yourself stepping inside the tree and feel your roots. Feel the energy flowing through your body, bringing in more awareness to your energetic matrix. Good. Very good. Since we've just brought ourselves back into our bodies, into our awareness, we're going to work on the compass. Good. I want you all to see how quick and easy it is to go right back in to that focal state. Feel how even the head is beginning to open, body postures adjusting, shoulders are rolling back, chest is expanding, and we're engaging the breath again with more intention and awareness. Good. Visualizing that red column of light coming up from below. Use the imagery of this connected, aligning, orienting, focusing frequency to support you. Good. Feeling that blue column of light, holding and balancing, aligning. That golden sun within, shining and radiating until you're a perfectly balanced sphere. Good. I want you to come into focus of the body, and we're going to ask the body to show me what a yes feels like. Note in the body if there's any physical sensations, energy, maybe it's an idea or thought, a feeling or smell. It can be anything. Now we're going to ask the body to show us what a no feels like. Feel a shift in the energy. It may be very subtle and gentle at first. And again, ask, show me what a yes feels like. And a no. Recognizing what we're doing here. It's just like lifting weights, pump, and we get resistance in the top as we bring it up and resistance as we bring it down, right? We're building both muscle groups, the yes and the no. Upward flow of energy, downward flow of energy. For some people, it feels like an expansion in the head for yes and a tightening in the belly for a no. For me, it's like my head gets tight and it even cocks to the side if it's a high yes. And a no feels really heavy in my jaw and almost like a downward flow. For some people, and it's expanding in the heart for yes and contracting for no. Show me a yes, a high yes, soul expanded, fully aligned, yes. And no, out of alignment. Completely out of alignment. For me, it even makes me rock back. If you're struggling to feel this yes and no, you can stand. This is using your body, just like a pendulum. It's actually called that, body pendulum, body dowsing. You can stand and ask, show me a yes, and mind pull forward. Show me a no, rocking back on the feet. Yes, forward. no, back on the feet. So this is another way you can get yes and no. There's other muscle testing techniques you can use. Muscle testing is where we test the body's capacity to hold yes or no, which is what we were doing with the body dowsing. We can hold our finger rigid, the pointer finger rigid like this, and pressing down on the top with our other finger. Show me a yes. See how firm my hand holds. My finger's not moving. Show me a no. Now I press, my finger moves. I can ask myself questions. Am I fully grounded? Yes. Am I fully connected? Yes. So my finger's not moving. Have I taught enough on grounding and connecting to support these people today? I get no. There's still something else to teach. Good, because we're not done with class yet. You can play with yes and no in this way. Another muscle testing technique some people use is the ring. Yes, I can't pull my fingers apart with yes. No, I can. So this is about holding your fingers as tight as you can in two loops, interconnected, and trying to pull them apart. If it's firm, that's a yes. If it's not, it's a no. Is my name Jessie? Yes. Is it spelled with no I? No, it's spelled with an I now. I've changed it. So this is another way you can test muscle testing. My goal for you is that you're feeling this yes and no with your internal alignment. So we talked about language a little bit earlier. We're going to hit on it even more right now. This is a journaling exercise that I want you guys to come back and work on when you are on your own. This is about what is my language. We're going to do a little quick version of it here and now for the illustration purposes of this class. So when you look at these images for a few moments, I want you to just either imagine a story in your head about what might be going on in these images or where they might be taken, what might the feeling of them be, or you can try to tell a story about it. Just describe what you're seeing. I want you to engage your imagination in this. How would you feel if you were the photographer taking these pictures? When you tell a story about this kind of an image or photograph in your mind, like you're beginning to now as you're looking at them, start to become aware of what kind of language are you using while you're describing things. Are those waters torrential? Because that's a language that's kind of got some scariness to it, right? Or is it a mighty flowing river? This is actually the mouth of the mighty Ganga coming out of the Himalayas, coming down into India, considered a very sacred and holy river, full of all the love and the knowledge and the wisdom of Gaia. So what kind of language do we use shapes the way we view the experience. If we had a flood experience, maybe as a child or something scary, this might invoke fear in us. If we're a bit organized and a atypical type of personality, we might look at the picture up at the top left and think, oh God, that looks chaotic. There's missing pieces. Oh, that's annoying me. So we might notice what's missing around us. And we might use language that shapes our impression of these experiences. I want you to start to become more aware of the nature of the language that you're using when you're talking about things on the outside versus things on the inside. And start to become aware of, is my perspective, am I an optimist or am I a pessimist? And neither is good or bad, but we're going to have to play at both if we want to find a balance, right? Plan for the worst, hope for the best. It gets you there, right? In the end. Excuse me. When we are trying to understand our perspective versus another person's perspective, how do I hold space for this other person as well as for myself? Most of our struggle and our pain in our life comes from feeling like we're isolated and alone. Nobody understands us, nobody can get this particular aspect, or we have to do it on our own. Nobody can really show us or guide us. We already know how, or we want to learn better or different than someone else is going to teach us. We have all these different ways that we separate ourselves from one another. What happens is that when we separate ourselves away from each other like that, we end up feeling like we're not a part of anything, and wondering, what's the point? What's the goal? What are we here doing? So for me, one of the things that people ask me the most when they come to work with me is, well, what am I and who am I and where am I from? They're hoping I'm going to tell them, oh, you're from such and such star system, and that's why you feel like you don't belong here. Or something else. They're from another lifetime, or they're identifying in blah, blah, blah. My main goal for you is to embrace and come into the here and now, because this is where you contracted yourself to be. You wrote this story. You wrote and authored the most amazing choose your own adventure novel series for yourself. And now you're getting to live it. You're getting to experience it. You're getting to undergo the character development from those experiences and life lessons that you created for yourself, so that you can evolve yourself into this amazing being that you've become, with the skill sets that you have, the awareness that you have, the compassion. You can connect and relate to the people that are drawn to you because you've been there and they know it. They can feel the truth of it. This is how we heal the separation wound. So when I talk to people, I tell them, well, you're a piece of source here, expressing itself as an individual unique to you through a body, an individual piece of Gaia coming together to make a space for you to express yourself. You are a divine union. And this is something I have to keep coming back to over and over, for both myself and for the other selves that are before me, especially when those other selves are challenging me. They're hurting me. They're making things hard for me. They're not witnessing me, whatever that may be, or the experience is a struggle for me. If I can remember that that is as much source, that person, that experience, as I am, then I can start to begin to look for how this might be beginning to support me, even when it's hurtful. Could it be helping me break through things? Could it be helping me break past my own silence? Somebody coming into my field and my zone, being angry at me, is that something I need in order to be able to speak my own truth? Do I need that kind of an engagement in order to have enough of my own sense of self be hurt to speak out? We have to start understanding these things, because we, our author self, has to create conditions that force us to learn experiences. So if I can remember that that other person is as much source as I am, I can release them from having to be a villain in the story and hold the judgment and the blame and shame, into being an aspect that's designed to teach me to feel fear and then respond. Speak up, speak my truth. So when we start to understand that, we can begin to feel more unity with ourselves, unity with each other, and we can stop resisting the lessons that we have. That's what creates our suffering, is the resistance to the experience, the resistance to this other person being as much of a valuable piece or experience as ourselves, or the reverse. We are as valuable as we give the other person credit of being. Oftentimes with people who are empathic, we give ourselves the lesser piece and we give others the greater piece. It's not that we have to balance our egoic nature in terms of being overly egoic. We really need to inflate the ego more, give ourselves more light of our golden source and sun. So I have to always remind myself that I am a piece of source expressing itself in this linear experience on this planetary body of Gaia, and that I'm going to have experiences that expand me and contract me through these polarizing experiences of positive and negative, so that I can learn my own energy, my own power, my own drive, my own life force, my own movement. I can begin to be an active participant instead of just being thrown around by these experiences. So we want to find a focal point. When we're dancing, when we are turning on toe, we have to pick a focal point on the wall and re-hit that focal point on each spin. If we're a musician and we're trying to learn a new piece, we have to first find the pulse of the beat. We have to understand what our main beat is. So when we are trying to understand ourselves, we have to create a focal point of awareness for ourselves and what is true of us. And that's what we do when we ground, connect, align, come back into myself. Okay, who am I? All right, I am Jessie Starr. I am Jessie Starr. I'm an expression of myself and source. This is a fundamental practice that in consciousness you're going to have to come back to again and again until you learn to align with yourself. The reason that this is important is because we are in a soup of energy. There's things all the time influencing us. And oftentimes we'll feel like we're suddenly in a mood or an energy space that's not ours. Oh, I'm in a bad mood. God, where did that come from? It may not be yours. By grounding and connecting and aligning back into myself, bringing my focal point of awareness back to me, to my central sun, I'm releasing all that is not mine. I am myself. Then I can again begin to feel my state of being and then look outside of myself. Is somebody out here in a bad mood? Did I just pick this up? This is part of energetic hygiene that you'll learn more about in the program. Okay, so we've covered a whole lot of information. I know I wanted to try to give enough information so that as you move forward, whether you're working with me or not, you'll still be able to feel empowered in your life and in your focuses as you move forward. So this is a daily compass exercise that I assign students when they first start working to help you build your compass, that yes and that no. So we do a compass walk. Go out and take a walk. Right now we all have so much time and we're supposed to get a little bit of time outdoors. As soon as you step outside, ask yourself, is this a good time for me to go for a walk? Yes. And do I proceed forward, left, or right? Left. Feels right. Yes. I move left and go until you feel the need to question again if I change direction. Right, left, forward, right. We can do this until we feel like we're done. The point of it is not to get to a destination point, but the point is to experience the journey. So as you're walking, I want you to look for how your reality is communicating with you. Are you seeing numbers on license plates or signs? Words that are echoing thoughts in your mind? Are you seeing a bird pass right before or after you think of one? Or you have a really good thought? A light flashes? Or a cloud? Is it speaking to you? Start looking for these signs and these ways of communicating, because this is how Source communicates with us most. Is it a song playing on the radio that is echoing what you were thinking? These are how we get confirmations that what we're thinking is a product of this stream of energy and the soup around us that we've picked up. Coming back and aligning into ourselves allows us to look at it through our unique lens and begin harnessing, who we are and who we came here to be. So that is practicing being the observer. All of this is information that you will be able to re-access by listening to the recording or by coming back into the workbook and looking at the slides. You can download the workbook and print it out as PDFs, and as you go through the program, you can build up your own little journal or workbook series for yourself of all of the class exercises. If you have any questions or you want to submit anything for me to review, you can email it to me at Jessie@Healing Pathwalkers. All throughout the classes and the programs, you're going to see images that are like this. These are images created by an amazing, amazing guy, Jeffrey St. Rose, the Wizard Azanon. He's up in Seattle. He has the Starseed Oracle deck, which is such a powerful oracle deck of images designed like this one to support your energetics in reprogramming and aligning itself through color therapy. I sell the Starseed Oracle deck. You can contact me to pick up a deck of it, or you can contact him at azanon.com. He also generously is providing imagery to support you in meditating through this class series. This is our sphere of divinity. This, to me, is a perfect illustration of what happens when I bring all of those lights into myself and balance them within me. I'm balancing that light of source, that blue light, with my golden individuation. And that blue and gold creates the green, the love force for myself. Now, we don't have red in this image, but that's okay. You can add that in if you'd like. So thank you so much for joining me for this class. If anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and speak up. I see Tracy left a bit ago. I don't know when, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording though, so your questions are